What do you remember from the last class that you attended? Yeah. Python, because when I came here, like there was like all this like matplotlib and like code written here, so I assumed that most of you have a knowledge of like Python, but that was like very wrong of me. And as we started to do projects, I realized that you guys were not that well versed in Python. So now today we're covering like a very important lesson actually. Yeah. Biotest. Yeah, go on. What do you know about that? It is for addition and subtraction. Okay. Can you open a Jupyter notebook and can you do that? Can you just write whatever you know? Go ahead. I want to see how you make this work. Or you can just delete the cell. Okay. Also, the device that you're on, just check if the internet works on that device. Okay, so you have to open Jupyter Notebook. Do you know how to do that? Okay, do that. Yeah. Is that a string that you're printing?
It's an heading.
Sorry?
It's an heading. Heading.
Okay. So, wive done print is equal to.
Because see, it will not.
Okay, but if you remove the space, and also like, isn't a string supposed to be in quotation marks?
I'll write.
Okay. Yeah, run this code. Yeah. So you know how to add numbers. Okay, that's a good start. So do you know what? I'll just copy like something that I saw. A equals int and a number. B equals input. Okay, so one of you wrote this, right? This is like pretty. Wait. Okay, so can you tell me what is happening in this code? What is happening in this code? Yeah, so this input function is basically asking the user for an input after this line, enter a number, and then that is being converted to integer, right? An integer variable, and it is being stored in A. Okay, and A is a variable. Okay, this is a very common programming term that you will hear. A is a variable. If after this I do A equals 3, what will be the value of A? Will it be the input or will it be 3? 3. Yeah, so one important thing to note is that when you're assigning variables a value, whatever is the last value that you assign, that is stored inside the variable. Because in a variable, the value can keep changing, right? Then next you have B, which is also, again, you're storing a number. You're asking for an input and then you're converting that to integer, because whenever you give an input, it is automatically considered a string. Okay, so that is being converted to an integer and it's being stored in B. Then you just print A plus B. Okay, so this is pretty basic. Now if can you open the PPT, fundamentals of Python. If you go to the if you go to the introduction, go to the page titled introduction and there's a link. Anything that's underlined, it's usually a link in my PPTs. Go to that link. If you've opened that link, just let me know. Open the, so what do you see? It's like a website, right? And it's basically an interactive website and you can write code in it and it will check if you've written the right thing or not. So we will also be using this side by side. So you can either open the PPT and if the internet is working, then open this link. Okay. Go to the first link that says hello world. So if you want to try out the interactive cell, you can just go to the first code block that you see and then change the code. For example, it says print, this line will be printed, change that to maybe my name is whatever your name is, okay? So I want you to print my name is like dash, whatever your name is. Just to see how this works. Are you done? If the PowerPoint isn't working, just go to a Google tab, like just open a tab. You've logged in your Microsoft. Uh, okay, so the link is active. Just click on the link. Yeah, so just go down to Hello World. The first point, Hello World, and now just scroll down and yeah, go to this code block and change this line will be printed. Yeah, change this to my name is whatever your name is, or like anything you want to write. So this is just like me telling you how this works. So this is actually a website that they've designed to make. You can either open the PPT or you can just keep working here, but I'll just give you like a quick refresher of all the basics. So first of all, we have a variable. One second. Yeah. So a variable is a name that we give to some value, and that value can keep changing. It's a memory location that holds some value for some time. Okay, for example, if you want to, like, A is a variable, B is a variable, you guys already know what a variable is. Now there are different types of variables. What are those types? Different types of variables. There's integer, float, string. Yeah, what's something special about string that you always need to keep in mind when you're working with a string? Yeah, so it's either in Python you can do single quotes or double quotes, but a string is always in quotation marks. Double quotes or single quotes, even this works. Only for Python though. Right, so yeah, so this is how you store strings. Then there's one more variable, Boolean. It's either true or false. And in Python, you have to make the T capital and the F capital. So this is a Boolean variable, true or false. Right? Can you tell me the difference between this and this? Yeah, that's float or double, and this is integer. Yeah, and yeah, variables. Now we have another, like, you can sort of call it a data type, but this is a collection of items, and I've actually introduced you to this before. It's known as a list. Does anyone know about arrays? Arrays in Python? Sorry, arrays in Java? If you've done Java, okay, no problem. So list is basically a collection of items. It can be strings, integers, boolean, it can be anything in Python, and it can be all of them together also. For example, if I want to create a list of all the people who are present today, so my list will be names equal to square bracket. Inside square bracket, I will just write the names. If I'm writing strings, obviously I have to use quotation marks. For example, okay, Gurdit, right? Then Shantanu, then yeah, Pratyaksh. Okay, and I know Mehak. Okay. Uh, yeah. You can also give me your name if you want. Sorry, Dia, Ria. Okay. And yeah, huh? Rohit. Okay. Yeah, so this is basically a collection of different strings, right? All of this is stored inside names. Now, if I want to access Shantanu, for example, okay, one more important thing, counting starts from 0. Like indexing starts from 0, but counting starts from 1. So if I want to count how many numbers are there, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, but if I want to access this name, right, I'll do indexing. Like the process is known as indexing. Indexing is basically giving an address to each value, right? So I'll do names, and then in square brackets I'll write 1, and this will give me Shantanu. Okay, now you can also in your Jupyter notebook try to write this and then write this. Lists, yeah. Some things to consider about lists are that it's always inside square brackets. That's very important because other than lists, there are different types. There are tuples, there are dictionaries which we haven't done. They're also like this, but the only difference is they are enclosed in round brackets or they're enclosed in curly brackets. Like dictionaries are enclosed in curly brackets and tuples are enclosed in round brackets, and they're all used for different things. Like tuples, once you add values in them, you cannot change them, right? But that's outside the scope of our syllabus. But if you want, you can look at that website and it has all the information, right? So it's very important to note that lists have square brackets around them. Okay. Then indexing is very important. Obviously, like I said, indexing is how we access different elements. Also, one more interesting thing: if you want to change this name, for example, if I want to change Mehek to my name, for example, so I'll just do okay. How will I get Mehek first of all? What will be the index number for Mehek? 3. Who said 4? It's not 4. It's 3, right? So I'll just do 3 is equal to, and then I'll write my name. Okay? So I can also change the names like this. Okay? Um, then one more thing. Do you know about the difference between equal to and double equal to? Equal to and double equal to? Yeah, that's very good. So it checks if this is, so now I've assigned a value to the third index, right? I've assigned Ujjwal to index like instead of this. But if I want to check if the third value is Mehek or not, then I will use the other operator. So names 3 equal to Mehek. Sorry. So this will check if this value is equal to Mehek. Okay. Then one more interesting thing about lists. Okay, first do this much. Yeah. So one more interesting thing about lists is that you can use different functions on them. For example, if I want to add another value to my list, I'll just do names dot append, and then I'll give the value. For example, another person joins this class. Let's say her name is Priyanshi. So I will append this value to names. Okay. I can even reverse the values. I can just do names dot reverse. And then basically there are a lot of functions that I can use on top of lists. For example, like if you want the full list of functions, you can just search functions for lists in Python, and it will give you all the functions and all the parameters that you have to give inside them. For example, if you have an array of numbers, let's say it's called nums, and it stores maybe like all your marks. So 99, 82. Okay, and I want to arrange this in ascending order. I don't have to like individually go through and like arrange everything. I can just use nums dot sort. And if I want to do ascending, then I'll do ascending equals true. So this is a parameter. So every function that you use, it has a function name and then it has some parameters inside. You have to give some data to the function to help it to perform what you want it to do, right? Because sorting could be ascending or descending. How do we know? We just give a parameter that says ascending equals true. And how do you know what parameters you have to give? For this, you have to look at the documentation of Python. So the documentation of Python, and even if you search lists in Python, it'll give you all the possible functions, and then it'll give you a list of all the possible parameters that you can use. Like ascending equals true, there are also other parameters. Like there's like at least 5 parameters for each of these functions, but we don't use all 5. Like sometimes we need to change something about a function. For example, by default, it'll do ascending. But if I want to do descending, then I'll do ascending equals false. So if you want to change something that's being done by default, you need to use these parameters. And how to find these parameters is just through a Google search. Okay. So hopefully you've understood list functions, because the functions that we use in machine learning are also very similar. Have you noticed that whenever we use functions on a data set, we just use data dot whatever we want to, whatever all the function that we want to use, and then in brackets we write a lot of stuff. Okay, so where have you reached? What are you all doing? Yeah, so were you able to access the list? Yeah, so you're going in reverse. Minus, wait, why have you done name equals -2?
Indexing can be 0, 1, 2, 3 or minus 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that I understood. But why have you done equal to? Yeah, now try to output this.
And now I have to change the name from this to another name. I have to write another name or
Okay.
anything, add another name.
Yeah, so I'll try. Ascending equals false. Ascending, is the spelling right? Uh, okay, try to search. Uh, yeah, just go on another tab. No, you can always, yeah. Just open another tab, yeah, and search. You can also just search dot sort function in Python. Dot sort. Yeah, go to the first link. Go down. list in sorting list in descending order. Try the second one. Yeah. Go down, go down. Sort syntax. Reverse equals true. Okay, so it's not ascending, it's reverse equals true or false. Try that now. Yeah, now try to print the list. You can just click on the play button to run. Yeah, so it's giving you the list in ascending order, right? Okay, so instead of ascending equals true, you have to do reverse equals false. Okay. Do you need help? Open Jupyter Notebook, and now try writing the code that is on the like names, write names, and then make a list, and then just try to. Okay. Yeah. Now let's move on to operators. So there are three different types of operators, and I'm guessing like you already know what those different operators are. Okay, so there are three different types of operators: arithmetic, logical, uh, comparison. So what does this operator do? Adds, subtracts. This is pretty simple, right? This is what. Oh, one more thing. What does this operator do? It finds the remainder. So if you do 3 modulus 2, your remainder will be 1. It will give you 1. Okay? Or if you do 5 modulo 2, this will also give you 1. Okay? Um, then we have logical operators. This is and, or not. In Python, they're just written in small. Like in most of the languages, they're written in capital, but in Python, it's just written in small letters, and or not. So if you, for example, if you have two conditions, right now we learn about if loop, so you'll know. But if we have two conditions that, oh, like the number should be between 9 and 100, and the number should be greater than, let's say, and the number should be, I don't know, it should start with 2, something like that, right? So we have two conditions. If both these conditions need to be satisfied, then we'll use and. If it works that only one condition needs to be satisfied, then we'll use or, and not basically reverses it. For example, if you want to find a variable that is not equal to, actually not is also used like this. If you want to, okay, right now we checked, actually this I'll teach you later in comparison, but not is when you do, when you want the opposite of the condition. For example, if it's not, and then you write the condition. So if this condition happens, then this will return false. But if this condition does not happen, then it will return true. So these operators basically return either a true or a false. So this will return true if both the conditions are true. This will return true only if one of the conditions are true. And this will return true if the answer is false. Okay. Is this like, were you able to understand and or not? Now let's go to comparison operators. So this is when we want to check if two variables are they equal to, greater than, or less than. For example, if I have variable a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 3, right? So if I want to check if a is greater than equal to b, so yeah, if a is greater than b, will this return true or false? A is 10, b is 3. Will this return true or false? A is greater than b. True, right? Because 10 is greater than 3. So this will return true. Okay, then B is less than A. Will this return true or false? Yeah, true. So, and if A is equal to B, are both of them equal? So this will return false. One more thing is, one more detail to keep in mind is, so normally if your answer was 10, if both of them were 10, this would be false. Okay, A is greater than B would be false. But if you want to do that, oh, if they're both equal, it should return true, then you can add an equal to sign. So if A is greater than or equal to B, it will return true. If B is greater than or equal to A, it will return true. And this is obviously like equal to, so this will return true. Now we come to a very important, like I think all of this you've already done before, but now I think, have you done conditional statements before? Conditional statements, if loops or something like that, if, for, yeah. What happened? If else, right? So that's what I'm going to teach you. Yeah. So, uh, what are you doing?
He's telling if not, so if
Yeah. Okay. So next we have conditional statements. Okay, so this you now if I want to, A is equal to 100, B is equal to 10, and C is equal to 10. Okay, now I want to make a program that outputs A only if 100, A is uh, only when A divided by 10 gives 10. Okay, so my condition is output A only if A divided by 10 gives 10. Okay, so can you try to write this code if you know how to use if? Try to write it. That's your first activity. Your second activity is uh, get input for age using. Okay, are you done with this? Output A only if 100 divided by 10 is. Okay, now to the next one. The next one is you have to get an input for the user's age. Then if the user's age is greater than 18, you have to output, you can vote. If the user's age is 18, then you have to output, get your voter ID card. And if the user's age is less than 18, then you have to output, you're not eligible to vote. Okay? So here you will be using your if, else if, elif, and then else. Yeah. Yeah, but the laptops, the desktop's not working. Okay. You can even shift here. Both of you can work on it. Okay, no problem. Done? Okay. Let me test if it works in all conditions. Give the age 18. Yeah. Now run this again. Give the age 36. Okay. Now give the age 12. Okay. Yeah. Can you also go get a piece of chalk from the other class? Okay. Thank you. One more interesting thing about Python is in okay, that in Python you can assign stuff to two variables at a time or three variables at a time. For example, if I want to do name and then age, name comma age equal to let's say Mehak comma Mehak, what's your age? 16. So this will assign Mehak to name and then 16 to age. Okay, so this is also how you can give like two variables some data at the same time. Now you've learned about lists, right? It's when something has many different values, like 1, 2, 3, 4. But what if your list has, one second, let me make this first. Okay, what if you have a list inside a list? That's like a double dimensional list. So now make a new list that has called name to, or you can name it anything, and it should have three different lists. It could be names, it could be numbers, but try to have three different lists. So each of these lists is enclosed in a square bracket, and then all the lists are enclosed in a square bracket again. Okay. If you've made the list, now try to number all of these. So this is our first list, sorry, this is our 0th list, our first list, our second list, right? And if I want to access 6, if I want to access this, what will I do? I will do name underscore 2, and then first I'll go to the second list, which is 1. Then inside the second list, I will go to the second number, which is also at 1. Try to do this. Get the first and get the second number from the second list. And if you notice, this is exactly what we've been doing. We've been working with data sets. They're also like these lists. This is how we access numbers in a data set too, right? So a data set, you can look at it as a list of lists. Okay? Okay, now if you've done this, let's move on to the next topic, which is for loops. So for loops are kind of like how we iterate through a list. Iterating through a list means going to each of the numbers inside the list one by one. For example, when we were getting the square bracket and writing an index, when we were indexing, we were only getting one number at a time. But using for loops, we can go through all the different elements. Okay, so in Python, using a for loop to iterate is fairly simple. You just need to do For, you need to write for, and then you can write, for example, if your list is names and it has like all the names, right? I'm not writing the names again. You can do for name in names. So here is like this is a variable that you create that goes to every single one of the names. So this is one individual name and in where, right? So in the list names. Okay, so this can be like whatever the name of your list is, just write that here. Then you use a colon, right? And then you leave 4 spaces, that's a tab, and then you write your code. For example, if I want to print every name, I'll just write print and then name. Try to do this and see what you get. Print, Did you do this? Did you get all the names? It's okay. Why have you used a curly bracket?
Corner bracket is used.
You have to use square brackets. Yeah. Now your activity is that you have to try to print the name Pratyaksh if it's inside the list. Okay? And if there's no name inside the list, then print, sorry, if like Pratyaksh is not inside the list, print not found. Did you get this? For name in W, you just have to write print name. Print name. So name is your individual variable, right? Otherwise, this will print W the amount of times there are numbers in here. See, you get individual numbers like this, right? So that's what the point is. Getting individual numbers. And now you have to add a condition. Wait, so this will print this, whatever you're asking it to print. these many times. For example, you have 10 numbers, right? So this will print, if you write something else, it will run the loop 10 times and it will print whatever you write inside the print statement 10 times. So basically, your name for the first iteration, your name is 1 because the number is 1, right? So then it will print, if you write name, it will print 1, but if you write something else, then it will print that. Then for the second iteration, name will be 2. So if you write name, it'll print 2, but if you write something else, it will print that thing again. Are you getting it? Right? So this is basically how many times it runs the loop. See, I've written that in English. You have to convert it to Python. If Pratyaksh is not in list, how do you write that? Is equal to is equal to. So if you're inside the for loop, so everything that's inside the for loop has to be at an indentation of 4 spaces. So, no, erase this. What I'm saying is, can you erase this? If loop, yeah, erase. Yeah. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here is what when you write the code if, and then in, like I would prefer brackets, but it's okay. Can you put this in round brackets to make it clear? The condition in round brackets, yeah. So if name is equal to whatever the name you want to give. Also, it's a string, so make sure it's in quotation marks. Yeah, so if name is Pratyaksh, then what do you have to do? Close the round bracket. Yeah, now add the condition for what will happen if it's, one thing you missed is colon. Yeah, you missed the colon. Do you guys want help? Are you sure? Okay, so there's no indentation. So if the way you've written if, now that's another separate statement, but everything has to be inside the for loop because you're iterating through the array in for loop, right? Yeah. And if something is inside if, it has to be another indentation. Hello. Hi. Yeah, yeah, sure. It's about to be. What's the time? Wait. Okay. What's the time though? 9:05. Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. It's over. It's over. Okay. Just save all your work, guys. Just save all your work before leaving.